What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Faithful Phanatics show. As always, we are live here on DSM-Media's Philadelphia YouTube and Twitter channels. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Make sure to hit that follow button on all social media platforms, and specifically make sure to check out the YouTube link in our bio in the link tree. It'll take you directly to the DSM-Media Philadelphia YouTube channel. You can see on your screen here, and it's the best and only spot to get acclimated with the show, get active with us, and get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up here on the screen like so. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. The Phillies end a very, very fun 2024 season in disappointment. We got a lot to break down from this NLDS 3-1 series loss against our rival New York Mets. The first time the two franchises met in MLB postseason history, and it is 1 point for Team New York. The Eagles return from the bye at home to take on the Cleveland Browns this week. We're going to discuss them getting healthy and what they can look like and how to swing things around in a positive direction after starting the year 2-2 with a lot of red flags. And the Flyers, man, some puck tomorrow night, Scotty. The regular season for Philly gets kicked off up in Vancouver. Matvei Michkov makes his debut, 4 straight games up in Canada and up on the West Coast to start the year. All at 10 o'clock. So we'll get as much puck talk as we can in over the next week, but it might be a little difficult. But yeah, Martian, we're here. We're here to pay rent, brother. I'm here to take it on the chin today. I am as disappointed and upset and angry as you are. But we're gonna talk through it. And there's gonna be major moves to come this offseason when it comes to Dave Dombrowski and this Phillies organization. We're going to talk about it all, man, but happy Friday, everybody. At least we're to the weekend.
Happy Friday. And yes, Martian is right. Like me and Dylan are handling this in 2 separate ways. Dylan's a little bit more down. I'm just like trying to like program my mind to like move forward and put my attention on like other things that are like going semi-successful right now. So Duke gets, a W for next year. It's not even this year. I'm taking W's for the future seasons right now. You get the Boozer Twins this morning. That's why I'm ecstatic here with the Duke gear, but it's a little bit opposite of what this show is going to be like, quite honestly, at least for the first half, right? So, yeah, Martian, I'm trying to maneuver here. I'm trying to keep myself out of a funk, but I mean, the Phillies made it pretty like goddamn hard.
You're seeing a split screen of 2 different ways to handle and go through your breakup, right? when you lose your girl, you got Scotty that just gets back out there and looks for the next best thing to get his mind off things, and you got me that's gonna listen to fucking
such an accurate
Post Malone, fucking what is that one song? Fucking I Fall Apart over here in a dark room.
That's the song you were talking about.
Just sitting in my sorrows for a week.
Oh man,
ways to handle it, man. Over 24 hours later, it feels no better. A lot to get into with what went wrong in this game, what went wrong in the series, what went wrong in the season, in my opinion. And I was wrong. I was bought in. Obviously, Wednesday show got the clip out there. I believed in this team. People in the comments and people on social media didn't. And they kind of haven't for the last couple of months. And post All-Star break, when the Phillies played about 500 baseball the rest of the way through after starting out like 63 and 34 or whatever it was in the first half. I don't know what to make of all that. I don't know what to make of the season as a whole. And because I'm not just a guy, I get it. Like, baseball matters when you like when you're playing your best ball, and obviously it's better to be playing your best ball post All-Star break compared to before. But I'm not just a guy that can like cut that and act like it didn't happen and it didn't exist, and that has nothing to do with who this team is, etc. I'm more upset about this than I am angry. I'm angry, don't get me wrong, and I'm angry at specific performances. I'm angry at certain spots throughout this game, and we'll talk about those. But overall, the tone and just the thought of how this season ended, I'm upset. And I said this to you before the show, man. I think I'm more upset because look, I love what the Sixers have put together, and I'm super excited for that season to start. And maybe the Eagles can turn things around and go on some miraculous postseason run.
Yeah.
But I thought with this team, it was our best and closest opportunity to winning a championship in the city. And they didn't win the championship, obviously. They didn't make it to that round. They didn't make it to the NLCS. They didn't even force a game 5 to come back home to Philadelphia. They went out as lifeless as they came in to this postseason. It was the same issues you saw from the last 2 exits of the postseason when it comes to these bats. Not just that, you have questionable managerial decision-making going on from a Rob Thompson perspective, who I defend till the end of my days. But some of these decisions, specifically in Game 4 with the bullpen, man, were mind-boggling to me. And then you get to the bullpen, and you talk about the fact that they had an over 11 ERA as a team bullpen. That is, I believe, the highest in MLB postseason history. And it's right on cue, though, right? It's right on point. The last 3 years of all these runs, what has been like the question mark for this Phillies team going into each postseason run? The last 2 years,
The bullpen.
What are you going to get? Well, the bullpen in 22 and 23 had like a team 2.37, 2.6 something ERA. They showed up somehow, some way. Sir Anthony Dominguez and Jose Alvarado and company were able to get critical outs and close out series.
Own it in.
And we get here this year with multiple all-stars, multiple starting pitching all-stars, which showed up, by the way, multiple all-stars all over the infield. And this is the team, this is the bullpen that shows up in the first round against literally your bitter, your arch nemesis. This is the performance that you had for this city in the NLDS that I'm more upset than I am angry, man. I'll get to that stage. I'll get angry throughout the show. But it really is just a bunch of disappointment, man.
Yeah, and I think to your point, you talk about I mean, it's hard to even look to next season, quite honestly. But
it is.
You look at it, and it's like 162 games. And I said this to you before the show. It's like, well, if they win 100 games, do you take them a little more serious in the postseason? And it's like it's not the Sixers yet. It's not like that. It's not that far just yet. Where it's like, the regular season doesn't matter.
Correct.
But it's getting close to that when you have this happen and kind of the decline over the last 3 postseasons, right? And I think the other concerning part, man, is just like while we sit here, we think we know which pieces need to be like replaced or moved. We don't really know how possible some of these moves even are, right? Like, and the thing is, you look back at this series, it was so weird. So first of all, the starting pitching for us was great. Like Ranger, Nola. Nola gave up two. Ranger gave up
runs.
Gave up none, I believe. Wheeler none, and then Sanchez gave up 2.
Yep.
So I mean, starting pitching was amazing, but then you move into the lineup, you move into the bullpen, and so you go to the lineup, and it's like. There was all this talk about Castellanos and like where he was arguably one of your best players in this series, man. Like he did show up in the one moment where guys
I'm not with the Nick Castellanos moving on type of talk. I mean, the dude literally hit 400 in the series.
He wasn't the problem. Bryce Harper wasn't the problem.
No,
Trey Turner's not a guy that's going to be able to be moved. But
regardless,
it's not even that I want to move him.
No,
I just want to know what's up. I want to know what's up. Like, why can't you perform at the level that you've been performing your entire career here in Philly for this team with this roster? Why can't you do that
consistently? Right? Like that's
consistently because he has done it.
Because the highs are there. There's the stretches. And in the postseason last year of Trey Turner ripping home runs, getting on base, stealing bags, making diving stabs in the hole and flipping up for inning-ending double plays. And it's just like this year, everything looks so difficult. I mean, my God, to end an inning, he almost threw a ball out into right field over Stott's head that would have changed the game even earlier, man.
Yeah.
Even earlier. They're not getting rid of Trey. Right? So first of all, I want to make this very loud and clear. And I
Yeah.
know he's never going to see this, but I know he listens into like WIP and stuff. And I know there's going to be morons that call in throughout the coming days and weeks and months of next year. If there is a single soul, a single body in the city of Philadelphia or the surrounding areas that are a Phillies fan and say that they don't want Bryce Harper on this team or that Bryce Harper needs to be moved, you need to get your fucking brain examined. Your brain, like literally for scientific purposes, it needs to be examined because that is the most asinine statement. Look, I get it. I was on him as well in game 3 when he swung at 3 straight pitches with runners in scoring position and kind of halted that inning before Castellanos' double play. But are we joking right now with some of the tweets I see? It's not a lot. It's a very select few that have made comments about Harper. Is he the leader that we need or the leader that we want to get us over the hump? No, I don't necessarily think he is that vocal guy that get in your face, rile the troops up, whatever type of guy, but he doesn't need to be. He is by far the best player on this team. He's the most clutch player probably in Phillies postseason history. The numbers support it. He's hit over 330 again this postseason, but people will tell you he stunk in 4 games. No, so that's not a conversation. And Castellanos, to me, I'm not moving either. He's got 2 more years left on the contract at $40 million. I don't even know people would take that on, but regardless, he plays 162 games a year. He's always there. And from May 1st on this year, he was your best and most consistent at bat week in and week out, and he showed up in the playoffs. The dude hit over 400 in the postseason with a game-tying home run to swing things and a walk-off in the only game they won. There is no reason, I agree, TR, there is no reason to move on from him. Trey Turner, I don't want to move on from Trey Turner. There's a lot, and by the way, it's not possible. It's not possible.
It's contract.
It's not fucking possible. He's got 9 or 10
and
years
you're better
left.
off seeing if he can just get back to form, right? Like you're better off just seeing if he can get back to the elite form that he was at one point, or in these moments in time, right? Like the ups and downs of Trey Turner. You want to see if he can consistently just get on that high mark. But I do have a question for you. This guy came to my mind, and I'm not. You can call me an idiot if this is a dumbass idea. I'm just throwing this out there. Kyle Schwarber. Like what I'm asking, I'm not asking like, do you just move on from Kyle Schwarber?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to ask it. It feels dumb, like to ask it. But do you try to find something else? Do you move Trey into the leadoff spot? Like I don't know. I'm just thinking of ways in like the formation of our lineup
so Kyle
to manufacture runs, right? We have to switch something out of this lineup. Right. Now, I'm not saying that Kyle Schwarber is like, I'm not like pointing the finger at him. I'm not.
A guy that we've defended like in the leadoff spot, right? Like you guys see all the home runs, etc. But to your point, it has come up short each and every time. And when they can't play small ball, it's the same people, but maybe something changes.
I'm not saying he's the problem by any means.
I really, I don't know from that perspective. What I'll say to you though is we got into this conversation of, stay or go, right? And I want to know when we got here.
Yeah.
Because I know things were ugly in July, and I know they weren't perfect in September. But they close out the NL East with over a week to go. They secure a bye. Vibes are high. And then all of a sudden, we get one game into the postseason, and we don't know who should start at third. We don't know who's going to start at second. And we damn sure don't know who's starting in left and center. When did we have 4 consistent question marks across the lineup? When did that fucking happen? Yes, Stott and Marsh and Marsh. I get that part. He's done it all year long. He's done.
Do you think that that's part of the issue, though? Do you think that is part of the problem?
I
do.
Like
just not having the same lineup out there every game?
I don't think Brandon Marsh is back, and I don't think Johan Rojas is a guy that they're looking to have as the future center
field.
Should be
on the bench.
I think left field and center field are definitely the 2 spots that will be different coming into the 2025 season. Stott, I don't think is going anywhere. I don't think he should, but man, he has to start hitting left-handed pitching. And then Boehm, that's up in the air, man. I know I tweeted out some angry things towards him in game 4 because I don't know what the fuck.
He looks injured though.
He was
like
doing.
To be fair.
Yeah, but dude, up here.
Yeah, I know.
Plays in the field.
He was like tearing up Oh, in
What were the
dugout,
two
man.
plays in the field in game 4, right? That's the shit I don't
Yeah.
understand, but that's what I want to know. When did we have
Get
4
there.
different spots? What we all talked about, the depth and the dangerousness of this lineup 1 through 9. And oh my God, Brandon Marsh is hitting 8th. Can you imagine this lineup? And then all of a sudden it's gone. All of a sudden we don't know if fucking Weston Wilson or Edmundo Sosa or Cody Clemens needs to get a start to ignite something. Why did we need something to ignite the team? Where was the fire? Where was the fire when your owner marched into your locker room in celebration and looked you in the eyes and said, I want my fucking trophy back? Where did that team go?
Is it a Topper issue?
Sure did not show up in the 4 games they played. Let's get into some of it, Scotty, because
is that Topper's responsibility, like, to get this team up? Like, talk to me about the manager of a baseball team.
As a manager, you don't have many responsibilities. So yeah, I think some of it is, but at the end of the day, you played game 1 in front of a sold out Citizens Bank Park. What extra fucking fire did you need? I was there. There was no extra fire that should have been needed that afternoon. And you guys no-showed after Kyle Schwarber leadoff home run. So let's talk about the issues. The bullpen, I'll get to. But the issues in the lineup, okay? And some of the guys that stay or go. Kyle Schwarber, I love, dude. Leads off the series with a home run to the upper tank. He had one more fucking hit the rest of the series. One more single.
That's what I was thinking.
One more, and I believe it came in game 1. One more single.
He was only 2 hits in like the first 5 innings of that game or some shit like that.
That's it. Bryson Stott had the big triple in game 2 on his birthday. Bryson Stott had 2 hits, Scotty, in the series. Trey Turner, my man, my $300 million man, who I'm not ready to really give up on yet. 3 for 15.
Yeah.
Brandon Marsh, everybody's favorite guy, the part of the daycare with Bryson Stott. 1 hit, and it was an infield single. Alec Boehm, 1 hit, and it was the play he got thrown out at second base. Rojas, 1 for 5 in limited action. Hayes, 0 for 4. Wilson, 0 for 3. And then here's the really big fucking kicker to me, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God. Real Muto
did
not record a fucking hit in 4 playoff games.
0 for 11.
And basically, to wrap up the season, comes up with runners on first and second in the top of the 6th of a 1-0 lead with a 2-0 count and swings at a ball at his fucking ankles like it's a golf club in his hands and pops it up to shallow center field, and that puts 2 outs. It doesn't move him, doesn't do anything productive. It's a disgrace, dude. An absolute disgrace. And I think it's the part that bothers us the most. Are we overvaluing some of these names? No, I don't believe that's the case. Their approach at the plate is so fucking mind-boggling. And I know that's been a discussion for the last however many years. But I truly thought at some point this team is smart enough, they're great enough to figure it out. Especially when they're knowledgeable of it. They're talking about it before and after every bad performance. You had the 3rd highest chase rate in the league at 30% this year. You jumped it up over 35% in the postseason. I mean, the Diamondbacks gave the league a blueprint on how to attack the Phillies lineup last year. They showed you how to pitch them. And
how many 2-0 counts?
The Mets came out with very underwhelming pitchers, by the way. Jose Quintana, Sean Manaea, Kodai Senga, and a bullpen game. Severino, excuse me.
Yeah.
Very underwhelming names to throw at you in a playoff series. And you had no answers because you adjusted 0 fucking times. Even with the season on the line, you adjusted 0 times, bro. You know when the game was over, Scotty, to me? You know when the season was officially over? It wasn't after game 1. It wasn't after game 3. And it wasn't even early on in game 1. It's the top of the 6th when Bryce Harper hits a leadoff double to the right field wall in a 1-0 ball game. And then Castellanos strikes out. And then Boehm walks. Now it's 2 runners on. And then that JT at bat comes up, and you didn't score Bryce. You didn't move Bryce.
Yeah.
You did nothing productive. That is when the game was over. And what do you fucking know? The next half inning,
Grand slam.
everything goes to shit, and the season is officially over at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't complement each other, right? That's the other side of it. They're all like very similar. And that's why I do look at like Stott, like at least Stott can like work a count. I know he struggles against lefties, but he can at least work a count. He is kind of different from the rest of the mold in a sense there, where the rest of these guys are just swinging for the fences, man. Like, I don't know if it's like the way they're coached. I don't know what it is. I mean, I saw this graph. I don't remember the specific number, but it was just like this amazing amount of 2-0 counts the Phillies were facing that ended up in strikeouts. And it's just, you know what I mean? I'm seeing Alec Bohm just swing at this pitch in the dirt on a 3-1 count. Just swinging like for the moon. And it's just like, dude, like what are we doing?
Trey Turner does it more than anybody.
Was the worst one.
Trey Turner, and the worst part is too, and again, you know, at-bats can change, you know, just because he should have walked to lead off an inning doesn't mean the rest of the guys would have did what they ended up doing. I get that. But the inning that we scored our only run, okay, Trey Turner led off that inning before Bryce got on. And Trey Turner had either 3-0 or 3-1 count. And he swung at a ball out in front of it, left hand out, like a golf club in the dirt. And then swung at another ball to end the at-bat. I mean, come on, brother. Like, come on.
Yeah, it is. It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating.
I don't think it's this far. You know, Trey Turner is still a very, very, very good player in this league. I mean, even look at the other guys that were available. It's not even getting rid of the contract TR. It's like, is he Francisco Lindor? Did he play like Francisco Lindor? No. But look at the market when we were in the market for one of those shortstops. What's Xander Bogaerts doing? What's Carlos Correa and the Twins doing? What's Dansby Swanson doing? Like, Trey's outperforming all of them. Trey's had bigger playoff moments in the short 2 years he's been here than all of them. Like, the lows are low, man, and they're very ugly, and it's part of the reason this team is home right now. Or in Cancun or wherever the fuck they're
He's just kind of he seems like a vibes guy. He seems like a rhythm guy. And when the Phillies are all in a rhythm, when they're all confident, then Trey Turner can be confident as well. He can feed into it. He's just not a guy that feels like he's going to go against the grain and start this comeback, right? Like he's not a Bryce Harper that's going to crank one to get the Phillies team going and get some runs on the board, get the bats active. He's just a guy that can go with the flow to a high extent.
I don't know what to make of this either. I don't disagree with you, TR. Like, I really don't. If they moved on from Kevin Long, I don't care. And I'm sure it plays a role. But my issue is at this point of all their careers, right? Like Bryson Stott's their youngest player. Bryson Stott's older than Juan Soto. He's almost a year older than Juan Soto. Think about that. And he's
That's
their
crazy.
youngest.
I did not know that.
Besides Rojas, but you know, Stott is 27 now.
But these guys are who they are.
Yes. And what does at this point of Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber and Nick and Bryce's career, at what point, how much factor does Kevin Long have? You know, if you move on from Kevin Long, what is changing up here and in the approach of a Trey Turner?
And if you want Soto, do you move on?
If you're a long shot for Juan Soto, keeping Kevin Long might go a long way in doing so. That's the conversation for later into the winter. But I just don't know, man.
What about Topper though? What are your thoughts on Topper? What are your thoughts on his comments after the game? Because it was his comments after the series ended that kind of bothered me a little bit more. He's just so like so nonchalant, so passive in a sense. He's just very relaxed. He's very calm. And I think there's a good thing to that. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Well, I'm interested in what you
to the passive and laid back comment, right? When Alec Bohm hit that ball fair in the 8th inning, because by the way, that was a fair ball. I'm not saying they would have done anything with it, whatever. But I don't know how the fuck you get that wrong. Rob Thompson needs to get ejected from the game.
Yeah.
Alec Bohm
as the leader
had
of
some words, and this ump that got the call blatantly wrong in Game 4 of an NLDS puffed his chest out and took a step towards Alec Boehm, like Boehm was in the wrong. So Paco Figueroa gets in between them, walks him back. I don't know how Rob doesn't go out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
The team is on the brink of going home for good.
Right. And he just made not. I don't want to call it a game. You're down 4-1. It's the 8th inning, 2 outs. Even if it counts, it's the next person has to drive them in. Whatever. It's not even time. Whatever. But still, you can't get that wrong in that spot. And like you said, there's moments where I need him to be a different type of personality. However, just from the overall body of work, no, I'm not moving on from Rob Thompson.
It's not a good sign.
Bro. I mean,
when you win your division and you move on from your manager.
Why are there still people and like there's levels to what they do and how they are bad at their job? Why are there people that defend Nick Sirianni? Like if there's people out there that defend keeping Nick, why do they defend him?
Playoffs.
His track since they've been here, his winning percentage. They've been to the playoffs every year. Well, since Rob Thompson has taken over the Phillies from Joe Girardi in 2022. They got to the World Series. The next year, they won 90 games and were the first wild card spot. The next year, which is this year, they won 95 games, second best in the league, won the division. In what world, again, am I? You know what I mean? Like, there's blame to go on Rob Thompson. Leaving Jeff Hoffman out there, or even the decision to throwing him back out there after he sat for that long inning in the top of the 6th. Because I was for leaving Hoffman out there, going back out there, I mean. But once the Phillies it was Bryce's double that inning that he sat. Once he starts to sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you can't throw the bullpen guy back out there, man, no matter how many pitches he threw the inning before. And then you do. And then you leave them, and then you leave them, and then you leave them, and then you leave. And it's like, oh my God, why wasn't anyone ready at the start of the inning?
Yeah.
They didn't get a set us up until the bases were fucking loaded.
Yeah. And to your point, is it Topper's fault that Strahm forgot how to be a great piece in the bullpen, right? Like, is that Topper's fault, right? Is it Topper's fault that guys, forgot how to hit the baseball and drive in runs? Like, to your point, I do agree to an extent. You got to give some accountability to the multi-million-dollar bats and some of the guys on this roster. At the end of the day, they got to take accountability. So I think you're being fair.
That's my issue, man.
Because baseball, even more than football, right? Football, you need that leader of men a little bit more to go out there and knock heads and get amped up and juiced up to do your job in that, because that football is like this.
Well, and the other
baseball
thing
isn't like that.
In the moments, in the areas that he could try things, he did, right? Like people were saying, oh, Austin Hayes can't play. Let Weston Wilson get a shot. He does that. Alec Boehm is fucking up. He tries to ignite the lineup with Sosa. He's trying. He lets Stott and Marsh hit against the lefty in Game 4. He's trying, right? He's trying different things with the lineup. The bullpen, how is it like these are his guys? They've been his guys all year. They were all-stars. Jeff Hoffman had a 40 ERA, a 40.50 ERA in the playoffs this year. Matt Strahm had a 36, and Jose Alvarado had a 27, and Carlos Estevez gave up the season-ending grand slam to Francisco Lindor with a fastball right down the pipe. That's my point. What are you going to blame? When he he shouldn't have gone to Hoffman first. He should have went here. Oh, okay, dude, really? It's a 1-0 game. He's trying to just get outs at this point. So that's my thing. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And if you don't go to Hoffman, who are you going to? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? That's the other side of the equation here, is that these guys didn't just show up. Let me ask you this about this Mets Phillies series. Was it more the Phillies shutting down, obviously struggling with, from the plate, obviously struggling with the bullpen? Is it more that, or is it more just the Mets being on fire, a good matchup for the Mets to come in? They saw the blueprint from the Diamondbacks. What is it? Is it more just the Phillies just disappointing us? Is that what it is? Just ending their season like this?
You give the Mets credit. And, dude, shut the fuck up. I'm finally going to say it. Shut up, dude. Pick a side. Root for the Yankees. Stop talking about the Subway Series. They're your team. No, the New York Mets are
The
not
Mets
the
are
better
the better
team.
team. How?
So,
Like what? Based on what? Like
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Based
I don't
on what?
know.
So people will tell you, oh,
I
because
was
they
gonna
play there.
ignore him today, Dylan.
Bro,
I was gonna ignore him today, to be
I
quite
just
honest.
it's
But
fine.
yeah,
Like whatever, man. No, bro, I got news for you. I'm gonna come back to the Phillies in a second. You're a fraud, brother.
yeah,
A fraud.
yeah.
All of New York does not want this. Yankees fans are Yankees fans. Mets fans are Mets fans. Maybe when one's battling Philly, they come together a little bit in the anti-Philly shit, but they could not give two fucks if the Mets beat the Padres or the Dodgers next series. In fact, they're probably rooting against them if it's the
It's that
Padres.
front runner mentality, man. Those
Fraudulent,
New York
bro.
cockroaches, man.
I see enough of it all over the internet. Barstool Sports is located in the middle of your city. They have Mets fans and Yankees fans. They argue live on stream about this shit. They do not want that. I know personally Yankees and Mets fans from vacation spots. They talk about the other team in a negative way. No one cares if it's to New York. Do you think?
I'm
Let me put it
curious
this
though.
way: if they make it both to the World Series, do you think the real fans on either side are sitting at their home stadium going, "Ah, this is either way. This is cool.
Doesn't matter.
Let's just have a good baseball game and hope so."
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
so.
What happens if the Mets beat the Yankees then?
Yeah.
Is that still your little brother? Is that still your little second squad that you like to tote around?
Closet Padres fans. Like, dude, I'm just going to ignore you for the rest of the show. You literally make 0 sense. 0 fucking sense. But I forgot that I forgot that he's a fucking Patriots fan too.
Pats, yeah.
Yeah.
Patriots. Whatever.
But brother, I'm not a knowledgeable Yankees fan because I'm not a Yankees fan. And if it's a rematch and they beat you, then you should want to kick their ass. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, rematch. So have some fucking fire in your fandom and root for your team. Don't sit back and go, "Oh, the
like,
Subway Series. This is cool."
Are the Dodgers and Padres fans like sitting in California rooting for each other?
It's good. Not that it's good, but they're out there literally fist fighting each other. Not condoning it, but literally saying, yeah.
Like, are the Padres cool if they lose to the Dodgers? It's cool. It's my other California team.
Why don't you want to play the Dodgers Padres? Because they're better than the Mets are, and you guys won't win the World Series if that's the case. You know what I mean? But whatever, dude. Back to the Phillies point. Rob Thompson's an interesting case. Kevin Long is an interesting case. I don't know what they're going to do this offseason. I don't think they're going anywhere. Like, I don't think Dave and John Middleton are going to look back at this and go, you know what? A managerial fix is the solution to moving forward, and that's what it's going to change. No, I think moves are coming. I don't know how or when we got here and why we got here to the point of Alec Boehm and Bryson Stott might no longer be a part of our future in literally a week span. But it was disgusting, man. It was. And to be honest, Scotty, it's been disgusting going back to the end of last season. I mean, in closeout games, in home playoff games, the offense just isn't producing. And that's the sad part.
Yeah. And I think that's where all the
brother, I'm hostile.
I appreciate it because we're in our feelings today. By the way, we are hostile. By the way, I appreciate that, Trinidad, because I was getting a little upset.
Nothing personal from it. It's shit talking sports. I'm just saying, from a guy from a passionate fan as me, root for your Yankees. Stop worrying about the Mets. If you guys play the Mets in New York, just root for your Yankees and tear Mets fans down.
He was the one I was just like, as I'm watching the Phillies lose that game 4 in New York, I'm just sitting here thinking, what is Trinidad going to say on Friday fucking morning, man? Because I just knew. But no, I appreciate it. It isn't personal at the end of the day, man. We appreciate you guys watching.
Give it back. It's fine. But anyway.
The truth is coming out right now. He's having this honest moment. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's like a 30% for other fan bases. This is great. Fucking hey, dude. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know where to go from here, bro. I don't know what this like. Again, like something needs to change within this lineup. They need guys that chase less. They need guys that just pass the baton and get on base, etc. And they don't have that. And what's the solution, right? Like, is the solution moving on from Alec Boehm? My biggest thing is, like, what if the lineup is pretty similar, but you have a new starting everyday left fielder and center fielder? And maybe one guy is hitting fifth and one guy's hitting eighth in this lineup.
That's the thing. I talked to you about it before the show. Like Jazz Chisholm, I know he's playing third base for the Yankees right now or something like that.
Something like that.
If you get a guy like Jazz Chisholm at the deadline, does it look a little different? Who's the guy from the White Sox?
Luis Robert. No, that's the thing. Luis Robert would just fit the build of what they already do.
He's boom or bust too.
Hunt home runs and hit 213.
That's the thing, and that's what the Phillies need to do. They need to go out and try to find guys that can complement the stars they already have on their team, rather than going out and getting just another guy that fits the mold that they already have, right? Like
that's not to say I don't want a Juan Soto.
Juan Soto is the exception.
Whatever. I'm sure he's going to stay in one of the New York teams, and that's fine. But if they were able to get their hands on him because of the connections, of course, slide me Juan Soto real quick.
Yeah, I think that is the one positive, man, is that Middleton is fine. Like, we know he wants it just as bad as we do. And I think that is a good thing at the end of the day, because if it was from the top down, then we have a real issue. But we know Middleton will go out and he's going to spend money to try to get this thing done, get it corrected, whatever it's going to take. So I think that is the bright side, is that we are going to have an endless amount of resources to an extent for us to go out and try to get better this offseason. But man, the offseason. Like, it comes out of my mouth and I can't even stand it.
That's the shit that's the annoying part, right? And 2 months from now, we'll be excited because it's going to be the dead of December, and we'll have football and basketball. But like, from when you start getting the baseball rumors and trades and free agency, you get excited as a Phillies fan. But again, it's part of the discussion that we had from Wednesday, where we talked about, they're Sixersing, and are they like the Sixers, blah, blah, blah. I don't think the organizations and their levels of success and failure are the same, but from a emotional standpoint as a fan,
the vibe
all the same. Because now, like you go out and forget Juan Soto, but you go out and you add 2 new outfielders. Let's just say, I'm throwing names out there. Let's say you add Cody Bellinger and Randy Rosarena. Not saying, I'm just throwing 2 random outfielders' names. Those would be names, we would welcome on a Phillies team, right?
I would be excited about that.
Okay.
For sure.
That's great. But now I have to do the same song and dance and sit here from April until through September and wait and hope.
Wonder how many fake all-stars we have.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like when you get to this moment in the postseason and you have Alec Boehm, all-star, look the way that he looks. You have the bullpen, all-star arms, look the way that they look. It's like, these were just not really all-stars. Maybe people just don't start firing up at the beginning of the I don't know. I don't know. But to your point, it's just going to be hard to fully believe again.
Correct.
And it's the same thing the Sixers are going through. It's not that we believe again. It's just that we haven't believed in so long, in a sense, with the Sixers. But, man, I don't know.
It is a sad.
I don't know.
Sad morning, dude.
Flyers talk. Yeah, we will get into Flyers. The season's going to start here tonight.
Got a PG's debut tonight. Not televised, of course.
Like, give us something. You know what I mean? Give us something.
Man. Like, not televised. Hopefully there's clips coming out from somewhere, from media people, whatever. But Paul George makes his Sixers preseason debut tonight. Matvei Michkov makes his Flyers regular season debut tomorrow night up in Vancouver. Friday night, I'm probably just chilling. Got a big day Saturday. So I'll probably be tuned in and see what the Fly guys look like.
Yeah, I was actually planning on throwing that on tonight. Yeah, for sure.
question. How do y'all feel about that Bucks game? The opener or like the preseason Bucks game? Or is he talking about the Sixers Bucks season opener? I don't know. But also TR and Scotty, there's another one, right? Mitchkov's the star. I'm not comparing the two by any stretch of the imagination. But they did something I have not seen a Philly team or a Flyers team do in a very long time. And that is allow one of their young assets to play right away. And there's a stud by the name of Jet Luchenko.
What a name.
Third line center. Dude, he's literally like, I want to look this up. I don't even think he's 20. Let me see. Jet Luchenko. He is 18 years old, brother. 18. And he's the third line center for the Flyers on their depth chart right now. And that's exciting to me, though. Let the young studs go. Let them play.
Low expectations, youth. All they can do is surprise us. They can't disappoint us, right? Like that's the cool thing about the Flyers this year. They don't have a ton of pressure on them, but I do think there is some hype that comes back with the Mitchkov coming over and just the excitement about the youth. So I do feel you. It's exciting. I do plan on watching that tonight, though. But
tomorrow,
I was looking up. I guess you can bet on the season opener.
What am I saying? It's Friday. Duh.
Yeah, the game is tonight. I know you said that earlier.
No, I completely. I know we're doing the show, and I completely.
Do they have one tomorrow too?
Yeah.
Like, do they play back?
They play tomorrow at 10 as well.
Back to back 10 p.m.s.
Yep, and then they play Monday or Tuesday at 10, and then they play Thursday or Wednesday at 10. So, and they're all on the road up in Canada and in Seattle. So we don't see them at home until later next weekend, but. Nonetheless, man, it'll be a nice test. Maybe they come home 2-2 or, 3-1 possibly to start the year. And beautiful. There's some excitement.
We'll definitely have to talk about them. Yeah, for sure.
Got something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to on Monday.
Speaking of another team that we have to get back in action of talking about.
Yeah.
Because they've been out of my brain for the past week and a half. And that is our Birds. Our Eagles return back to action to kick off week 6 at the Link against Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. I said it to you the other day. I'll repeat myself again. They are now up to 9.5-point favorites from 8.5 points, Scotty, last week. Obviously, just win a ball game. Just get back in, Mike. It just make me feel some level of confidence. But you need to cover in this. You need to dominate this football game.
A dominating fashion football game.
I mean, Scotty, this is a Cleveland Browns team that is just not competitive against a lot of mediocre football teams to start the year. We can go back to that ass-kicking week 1 against the Cowboys, 33-17. You and I get on Turf Talk. We think, the Cowboys against that Browns defense on the road, maybe the Cowboys are better than we thought. And now we see what the Cowboys are 5 weeks later. And that's a very bad loss. Then they beat the Jags. Then they lose to the Giants at home, 21-15. Then they lose to the Raiders, 20-16. Then they lose to Washington, 34-13. They have lost to the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders. They lost by 16, 6, and 21. They have not scored more than 17 points in any of these ball games. They haven't scored more than 17 they scored 18 in their win. So they haven't scored more than 18 points in the first 5 weeks. So help me God, Vic Fangio. So help me God, Jalen Carter, Jordan Day. So help me God, Darius Slay. You allowed Deshaun fucking Watson to come to town this weekend and put up multiple touchdowns, put up points, keep this team in the game. I will lose my fucking mind, Scotty. This is the moment. This is the opportunity the Eagles have. Coming off a bye, we're down in our sorrows about the Phillies. They're fully healthy. Lane, Devontae, AJ, they're back. Cooper DeJean's getting the start in the slot. There's some positives surrounding them. You have an opportunity at home, 1 o'clock start against a very, very bad Browns team to lift my spirits back up. Not just win, dominate a football game.
Yeah.
Go dominate a fucking football game.
Yeah, and I think for me, man, even more than the defense showing up and taking care of Watson, the offense, right? Jalen Hurts. I think in this game, it's a big thing. You can't turn the ball over against this team. You if anything, you take less risks against a team like this, in my opinion, because their offense should struggle. You should be able to play competently on defense. So giving the Browns a short field, right? Giving Deshaun Watson a short field on a turnover, on an interception. Those types of things can't happen this week. You have Lane Johnson back, you have Smitty back, you have AJ back. There's no excuses for Jalen Hurts this week. You're coming off a bye week. You said you had one of the most efficient bye weeks in your career. You need to come out and you need to deliver this weekend, and it needs to look clean, man. I get that not every game is going to look clean. There's going to be turnovers here and there. There's going to be mistakes here and there, but it doesn't have to be every single game.
Not just
Let's
that.
have a
I got
clean
news
game,
for you.
man.
I got news for you, buddy. It hasn't been clean and efficient any of the first 4 games. So
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
and probably even back to the start of the collapse last year, let's be honest. Turnovers were a big part of that collapse.
Correct.
So
like, yeah, we're past the point of like, oh, it's hard, things don't always go your way. We're at a point where it's like things are never going right. Things are never clean. Things are never efficient week to week. We need to start to put together a stretch, because not only is it just this week, Scotty, it's coming up for the Eagles where they have an opportunity to go put together a nice stretch and get back into the conversation of those teams in the NFC. You get the Browns at home, you get at the Giants, you get at the Bengals, which record-wise looks like a good game looks like a good opportunity for the Eagles. The Bengals are playing very, very efficient football. Like, I'm looking at Vic Fangio and this defense, and I'm looking at Joe Burrow and them. Like, this might be like a 42-38 type of game.
That's what I was going to say. If anything, it's probably a shootout.
And then you get the Jags at home on Sunday Night Football. You have 4 weeks. If you can give me 3-1 football over the next 4 weeks before you head into Dallas, I'll start to believe more in this team.
Yeah.
I
agree. This is a big moment, man. This is a big moment. You got the early bye. You needed it. You needed it to get AJ back. You needed it to get a bunch of guys back from injury. Sidney Brown's going to come back, right? Cooper DeJean's going to start at the slot, the nickel corner. So all of these changes, it's right in time, and it's right when we need to make this move. And I mean, even further to that extent, like you talked about the Commanders, like the Commanders just dog walked the Cleveland Browns. So as you're looking up at the Commanders in the lead of the division, we need to start making some ground there. We don't need that to spread any further. Every loss will add even further concern to that. So yeah, you need to go out here and dominate the Browns, not just because you need a dominating win, but because the rest of your division took care of these guys as well. Do you want to look like the weakest team in the division? So,
well, that's the issue, right, man? Like, you have what you did in that week 4 performance. You didn't lose. Like, I think all of us, and with all the injuries, all of us could have handled a 2-2 record heading into the bye week when you're not fully healthy if you went into Tampa Bay and competed. The problem is, same thing with the Phillies. You gave us all fucking PTSD and flashbacks to the same team in the same spot that sent you packing a few months back and ended your season and started all this turmoil.
And that's
what it looked like was a team that doesn't believe, a team that has given up on their head coach. The quarterback has turnover issues. The defense has all these flaws again, etc. And I don't know what was said, but I'm on ESPN.com right now on the Eagles page. And I guess from Get Up this morning, Ryan Clark on the Eagles, quote, "This is a team that doesn't believe fully," end quote. Not saying Ryan Clark has any plugs inside. This could just be outside looking in. But that is the point. From the outside looking in, even from a fan's perspective on television, this does not look like a team that believes in their head coach, in their quarterback, in themselves. You need to come out of this bye week and play efficient, dominating football and look like that team, because you're no longer not in the conversation just with the rest of the NFC, right? The Niners, the Lions, those teams we thought we were up there with. Brother, I'm not saying it lasts. You know how I feel about teams getting out to early starts and if they're really true or not. The command, like Jaden Daniels is legit. I'm not saying the Commanders are going to go win a suit. I'm not saying that at all. But like, you've now got a conversation of, are you even the best team in your division right now? I'm not saying in the future. Are you the best team? Are you playing the best football in your division? The answer is no. So forget the Lions, forget the Niners, forget the Bucks, forget the rest of the NFC. Focus on your own division in-house, and you're not playing the best ball there.
Yeah, and Commanders have a big matchup this weekend too. They got the Ravens, so it will be interesting. This could be a big sway in the NFC East. But I would even say this, man, like even if they do go out here and blow out the Browns, it just doesn't mean that everything's okay at the same time. Like to your point, they need it. But it needs to be a consistent stretch of good football that I need to see here. And like you said, that next 4-game stretch is the Giants, the Browns, the Bengals,
the Jags. Yep.
Jaguars. You get 2 of those games at home, and you get 2 of those games away. So you're away at the Giants, away at the Bengals. You get the Jags home and the Browns home. Like you said, you need to come away 3-1, maybe even 4-0, man. Like the Bengals, like they're 1-4.
I agree.
Like they lose games.
And in
like
theory,
at the end of the
Scotty,
day,
if you can clean things up over these next 2 weeks with the Browns and the Giants, you're putting yourself in a position heading into Cincinnati where you should be a confident team heading into that matchup versus Joe Burrow and that ugly Cincinnati defense, right? Like right now, with the way the Eagles had looked, I'm not confident in them stopping that offense, right? But you have 2 weeks to go play solid football, get healthy, clean things up, and by that time that matchup rolls around the end of October, you could be a different football team. And then you could be favorites to go win that game.
Yeah. And I think even, as we think about like that Bucks game right before the bye week, like you said, Ryan Clark can say that they look like a team that doesn't believe. And I do get it. I expected a better performance. I expected that maybe they could win that game in Tampa Bay, even without the missing weapons. It was foolish on my part. I can admit that as well. But when you look back at it, it's like, let me look over to my right, not see Lane Johnson. Let me look over to my left, not see A.J. Brown. Let me look back over to my right, not see Smitty. And the confidence and belief may go out the fucking window. I don't know. My belief, towards a Super Bowl, towards success goes out the window if those guys aren't in as well. So I think this week it's going to be very telling to see if the issue was just A.J. Brown missing out of the offense, right? Can we all of a sudden score 25 plus points now that A.J.'s back? It's very telling in that sense, because the one thing is the Browns defense, they haven't been great this year by any means because they're kind of falling into what's happening with the offense. The offense just putting a ton of pressure on their defense. But it's still a unit with talent. It's still a unit with game records at every level that can change the game for the worst if you let them, if you make those mistakes. So you do got to come out. The offense is what I'm really looking at. But to your point, there's no room. Like, we can't have one of these Baker Mayfield type of performances where 2 yards, 5 yards turning into 10-yard gains, and the guys can't tackle anybody, and the quick passing game, they're just going down the. Like, if that happens, that is like the biggest red flag in the fucking world.
I agree.
That this team is not, let alone good, they're not even average at that point if you're letting that offense go down the field like that, man.
Let me ask you this, man. Which side of the ball do you need to see the bigger performance on? Obviously, we want to see an all-around dominant football game this Sunday afternoon. But which side, right? Because I'm going to pose it like this. On one hand, you want to see the offense fully healthy, look like that dangerous Eagles offense that we're expecting. Yeah. But they've dealt with injuries. They're just, re-getting acclimated, et cetera. They are playing the strength of the Browns team, right? Or the defense where, like, that's to me, like, if you let Deshaun Watson and the Browns move the football on you and put up points on you, that to me is the ultimate, like, slap in the face and like just the most telling sign. I don't care if it's week 6 or not. You can't get pressure on it. That is the most telling sign that this defense is nowhere near championship caliber.
They have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, if not the worst. So you should get pressure this weekend. You should be able to stop the run this weekend. The short pass game shouldn't be a factor since you had the entire bye week to work on your defensive alignment. You had time to work on coming up and playing a little bit closer on those receivers. Like, you've had time to work on tackling, which just shouldn't even be a thing. But if it is, it obviously is. We missed a ton of tackles. We've worked on it. Hopefully it's corrected. Hopefully Sidney Brown can help. Hopefully Cooper DeJean can help. All of these things have to play a factor in it. So when you ask me the question, man, it's not even really the offense for me. It's really like Jalen Hurts versus the defense. Like, is which one do I need to see look better, if that makes sense? And Jalen Hurts isn't a matter of like 300 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, or 2 rush. It's more of just that clean game, not turning the football over. You have your weapons back on the outside. You don't need to force things. Things will happen. You will score points with this amount of talent on offense. We don't need to force it. But to answer your question, it is the defense. The defense needs to be able to at least shut a team like this down. Yeah. At least for us to do anything, like even make the playoffs.
I agree.
Because if you can't stop Deshaun Watson, why would you be able to stop Daniel Jones? And I'm not even being funny. No, Daniel Jones, dual threat quarterback, can run, use his legs. Some of their weapons have looked good if they get Malik Neighbors back, right? Why would we be able to stop the Giants if we can't stop the Browns? Why would we be able to stop the Bengals if we can't stop the Browns, the Jags, so on and so forth, man, the Commanders, right? You can't stop Deshaun Watson. You're not stopping Jaden Daniels in that offense. So this is a big turning point.
I will say to TR's comments, like I'm doom and gloom on them right now, man, which is why this game is important. Like, put it this way, if the Eagles don't come out,
I'm not saying the offense will score points.
I'm not saying that. I am out until fucking further. You're going to have to take a season to change my mind and hope I come around in time, because you go out and you let Deshaun Watson put up 24 plus points against you, 21 plus points, and this is a close ball game. Forget it. You're not beating anybody. The other thing I will say to this one is we know the play calling issues. We know Jalen's issues. But to be fair, they put up 34 in week 1 fully healthy. They haven't been healthy since that game. And not only have they not been healthy, AJ's been the one that's been out. Not Goddard. I love Smitty, but not like it's been AJ out every game. Then you had so to be fair,
like I do agree
that offense can still put up points. Now, the last thing I'm looking at in this game offensively is I need to see Kellen Moore's offense. Whatever took place over the bye, I don't give a fuck if ownership, if Howie, I don't care who needs to step in. It needs to happen. This is not Kellen Moore's offense. Maybe a little bit of it is, but this is not 90 to 100% Kellen Moore's offense. The numbers back it. They are not running Kellen Moore offense pre-snap. They're not running it play design. They have 0 rushing yards for where I saw this number the other day. Maybe it's not 0, but we rank the lowest in the NFL for rushing yards from under center. That's not Kellen Moore's offense. The lack of motion is not Kellen Moore's offense. Nick Sirianni, get the fuck out of the way, dude. Get out of the way and hand over the reins to Kellen Moore. That's the one thing I want to see, the motion. I want to see what we saw in Brazil. I want to see Will Shipley and Saquon Barkley in the backfield together and using Shipley on a crosser and doing different things with Saquon out in the back. Like, I want to see that shit, because that's Kellen Moore. Those little things, those gadgets are Kellen Moore. The rest of it's not. And that needs to fucking change, man.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do think, man, just looking at like this comment, I do get it from the outside looking in. You look at the Eagles and you think that, and even we've been, reacting on a week-to-week basis to what's happening. But once again, Saquon has been a game changer. Yeah. AJ has not been on the field, but one game, which was a W in Brazil Lane's against the Packers team that
Smitty's missed a game and a quarter.
Has 2 losses so far. So, like, I do get it, because, like, obviously I've been complaining. I've expected more so far through 4 games, but when you look at it, I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a big if. It happened. It doesn't really matter, but if they don't collapse the way they did last year, if they just have the same record, but it doesn't happen at all at the end of the season, does this start look like that bad? Like, when you count in the injuries, when you count in Jalen with the new offensive coordinator, like, does it look that bad? The thing is, if you lose 2 of these next 4 games, yes, it does look that bad. That is the point that I think we're getting at right here, is that now is the time to answer the call and show us that you are like what you're supposed to look like.
Correct. And for
That's
me,
what we're asking for.
Obviously, things need to change offensively. Jalen needs to be better for me to start to believe protecting the football. Like, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with 2 to 3 turnovers per game from your franchise quarterback. But while I agree with you wholeheartedly, bro, like, we're sitting here doom and gloom 2-2 into the bye with all these injuries. Like, it is in a sense
the Niners were 2-3 coming into this week.
But I do not want to ignore the red flags like I have in the past. And the offense gets a pass to a degree. But why is the defense done what they've done, especially last week? They didn't have those injuries. But you're allowing Cooper to get the start in a slot. Sidney Brown's getting that. Like, so, look, again, there's the next couple of weeks are going to be very telling for me. I know it's not the greatest competition in the world, but if you go out and handle business the way you should, like a solid football team is capable of, then I'll start to believe more in this team. But the defense, that's the story for me this weekend, man. The defense and Jalen protecting the football. Because
it's with the defense, it's like, how low can you go? How low will you go?
Yeah, and listen, man, I'll throw this out to you as well. Jalen's thick skin will have to show if he turns the ball over, because you got to remember, we've only played one home game this year coming into this week. And in that home game was his best, cleanest game. He didn't throw the pick until the very end when he wasn't supposed to even have the ball. The defense blew it. Saquon dropped it, etc.
You come out not scoring the first quarter.
He hasn't been home during any adversity. And this fan base that is boiling up, we were booing the Phillies game 1, rightfully so. And this fan base that has a lot of thoughts and opinions on Jalen's turnover problem so far, they've had to be silent because they haven't been there for it. If he comes out and holds onto the ball too long and Myles Garrett strips him from behind at midfield, or he comes out and throws in a double coverage and turns the ball over in the end zone or the red zone, brother, he is going to hear it from this fan base the first moment he does it on Sunday. Now, again,
if they don't score in the first quarter, they're going to hear it.
Weeks and then throws an interception 4 weeks down the road. No, you shouldn't be booing at that point. But what I'm saying, with all these issues lining up right now, you come out and start being loosey-goosey with the football. Those 70,000+ people are going to let you hear it. And boy, that leadership and all those quotes, you better take in your own personal inventory, brother, because you are going to need it if you don't protect the football on Sunday.
It would actually be interesting because Myles Garrett is questionable with an Achilles injury. So that would help us out a lot. I'm not asking for it at the end of the day, though. Like, we don't need any, giveaways. Like, we need to earn one, man. We need to have a dominant, fully performative performance out there and show what we got, man.
He 1,000% has taken a step back.
I mean, I was watching Brock Purdy last night, man. Scramble around.
Yeah.
He was looking quicker than Jalen. Like, I'm not even being funny. He looked quicker than Jalen.
And I don't know what it is, because there's still flashes, Scotty. There's still moments. Yeah. Like in the Atlanta and New Orleans game.
Yeah, he was taking off.
Where he took off for 15+ yards and slid and got fired. Remember when he spiked the ball, I believe, against Atlanta, and they called us for a flag in that game? Athletically, to Trinidad's point, he's still athletic. He is not what he looked like in 2022 and the beginning of last year before that knee injury. He doesn't have that same burst in it. Like, dude, he's not beating defensive ends hard, like, to the boundary anymore.
Fine, though. They can just run with Saquon fucking Barkley.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the good thing. You got Saquon Barkley in your backfield. You don't really need to run Jalen unless it's an emergency. And I kind of think that's the way they need to go. Like, we don't need to run an offense like Baltimore. He's not that type of mobile quarterback at the end of the day, man.
No, and I don't think
you almost need to simplify it.
He was never, even though he was quick, man, he was never fucking.
He was never taking a 50-yarder to the house
or anybody like that. No, or Kyler Murray. He was never that quick. So
I don't know, man. I just want him to play some clean football this weekend.
And
you don't have to be the reason they win. That's what I'm trying to say. You can win without Jalen being the reason this weekend. And I just don't want him to be the reason that the Browns are in a competitive game with the Eagles. That's what I don't want.
1,000%, man. Honestly, if like Jalen play a boring game, dude. Get the
Yeah,
ball out of your
literally,
hands,
man.
quickly, protect the football, let your
Bro,
playmakers get the
I
ball
could
and make
use a
plays
boring
like they
game.
do in Saquon.
I
Yeah.
don't need to be on the edge of my seat screaming every
Yep.
minute of the game, man. And that's
Yeah.
what it's been since that Bills game last season. It's been me yelling at the TV, what the fuck are we doing?
Yep.
Whether it's Sirianni, whether it's Hurts, whether it's the defense missing tackles, missed assignments, it's been constant, man.
Yeah, and look, we're going to talk about it on the pregame show on Sunday morning, because we will be back here for that, and we'll be live on Turf Talk Sunday morning as well.
Have better energy, probably.
Yeah, a lot better energy. But the last thing I will say, man, and to Trinidad's last comment, because I do see it. So help me God, if Kellen Moore / Nick Sirianni do not come out on Sunday afternoon on the first offensive possession on 1st and 10 and give Saquon Barkley the motherfucking football, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to lose it. And I will double down on this because I say it to you every week, and they do it every week, and it is the dumbest play call in any playbook at any level of football. Pee-wee, high school, college, D1, D2, D3, NFL, overseas, it does not matter. If you throw the ball on 1st and 10 and you throw it incomplete, you turn around and run the goddamn football on 2nd and 10 one more time, I'm going to lose my shit. Scotty, I am able to see when it's coming every time. I say it to whoever I'm watching with. I text you. And at best, brother, at best, they pick up a 2 or 3 yard run. And then you are like that into a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 situation.
Can we get like a Saquon screen? Can we see one of those? Like I would love to see Saquon in a screen, like Brian Westbrook, that type of situation.
Literally, bro. Literally.
I'm looking at that performance against Tampa Bay, man. Saquon touched the ball 12 times total, 10 times on the ground for 84 rushing yards, and 2 times through the air for 32 receiving yards. Total of 116 yards on 12 touches, and that's all he got, 12.
That, first of all, that is so
unacceptable,
disgusting, and that is the problem, and that is what tells me that it's still Nick Sirianni's blueprint. Because what did the 49ers come out and say about us last year? How they remember on Monday Night Football? Was it McCaffrey or one of them was calling out what we were doing?
Yeah,
and that was an offensive player. The Niners knew exactly what we were doing. So I promise you, this is not Kellen Moore's offense that people are predicting. People are not. His offense is not this simple, not this predictable. So, man, figure it out. Like you traded for Jahan Dotson. Oh, again, we have the best wide receiver trio.
There's no way he's this bad, right?
He hasn't touched the fucking ball.
But I saw some stat that he's like getting the most, or maybe it's the receivers as a whole are creating the most separation of all receivers in the NFL so far. So like, just doesn't add up. I get that. That's like a rhythm thing too with Jalen. It's like you got to pick up chemistry together, but there's no way he's that bad. Like he's not as good as Olamide Zaccheaus. Like for real,
right? It's always an excuse here. That's the part I'm tired of. Like you just said, we had Olamide Zaccheaus last year. What do you have? 2 touchdowns for us. He had the touchdown against the Bills, and he had the touchdown against Tampa Bay early in the year on Thursday night, Monday Night Football or whatever, right?
Got a good memory.
He barely touched the ball outside of that. And now 2 weeks ago with Washington, he had like 6 catches for 84 yards.
Yeah.
With a rookie quarterback, new to the league.
But you know what Washington does? They have a lot of like short, quick passing game, man. And that's something that our offense lacks. Man, we're talking about it. And it's like the Eagles are like the Phillies. They're always going for the home run. It's the deep ball to AJ and Smitty every fucking time. And they just don't. It's almost like but we know that the Eagles can. We have seen them manufacture drives. They just don't do it all the time. So I think that's the big thing coming out of the bye week. Create an identity, find it, stick to it, and let's ride,
yeah, brother.
Man.
And guess whose offense it was and showed in 2022? I'll give you a hint. He's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts now.
Yeah.
Before that, it wasn't his
Flacco
offense.
putting up numbers.
Yeah. Before that, it wasn't his offense. And after it's been Nick's offense. And for whatever reason, we brought in 2 new coordinators, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. And for some reason, he's not being given free reign. And that
Yeah,
part is driving me
yeah,
absolutely nuts
and
because,
it's making the team suffer
yeah, I agree.
because you look at some of the mistakes Nick has made, time management, kicking field. Focus on that shit. Focus on that.
Yeah.
Don't focus on the play calling
That's
on
the
first and
only
third
thing he
down.
needs to worry about.
Yeah, situational football.
Is
That's
that
your job. That's it.
No, brother. Remember we had the Duke conversation the other day. He's a Duke fan.
Do I
Someone had
look
said
like
they
I'm
were
not
a
a Duke?
UNC fan. No, he said he thought that you said you weren't
I
before.
know. I'm just saying, like, do I look like I'm not? I don't know. Do I look like I'm not a Duke fan? But no, I went to Drexel. I didn't go to Duke University. I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia. I did not go to Duke, so I'm not an alumni. I'm just a fan. That's it. That's what I was saying the other day. Oh, hey, well, respect, Trinidad. We all get a little shit faced from time to time, man. And I would too, man. You got your Yankees. They're playing some good baseball. Why not? But
Hold that,
no,
Trinidad.
I'm excited for Duke.
Hold those for me, brother.
We got the Boozer twins. Nah, man, I'm not gonna be a Drexel fan.
That's a depressing life
Sports,
choice.
at least.
Yeah, that's a depressing
Nah,
life
the
style for you.
Duke is my one like bandwagon front runner team. I have been a Duke fan since I was a child, but can't really tell you. I don't have like ties to North Carolina or anything. I just was big Coach K guy.
I feel you, brother.
It's basketball royalty. That's what
My
Duke
dad's
is.
side. I got some Duke gear. I don't claim Duke anymore. I used to when I was younger. My dad and uncle were a Duke fan. Are Duke fans. So I got some Duke gear. Used to have a couple Duke hoodies, a couple Duke hats. I got a Zion jersey.
Yeah, Zion.
The blacked out one I got.
Those were the good days, man.
Yeah, but I like Duke. I just don't I don't claim them. Like I used to claim them.
It's harder in this day and age as well, I would say, like with the way college basketball is, you have a ton of one and done, so you can't create a ton of attachments to these players.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit harder.
I have
to,
an attachment to whoever's winning
hard
on any given night. That's what I do with college basketball.
Yeah.
I will say, dude,
you get the player props in New Jersey though with college. That's what's awesome. You don't?
Oh no, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But very, very underrated sport to gamble on. College basketball is a ton of fun.
I love college basketball.
There are day games constantly throughout the week. Like in the dead of winter when nothing else is going on, you'll have Tuesday afternoon college basketball on ESPN Plus or something that you could throw on and bet on. So it's fun, man. It's fun. We'll try to have a successful season. It is one of the funnest. However, let's throw this out there. It's also one of the most infuriating to bet on because these motherfucking kids can never hit their goddamn free throws in the final minute and a half when you
cover
need
that
never,
spread,
ever,
man.
Ever. Gosh, I know they're amateurs, but god damn it, man. Just make your free throws.
How you feel about this trade?
I'm good, especially when he becomes a free agent in a couple weeks and we sign him outright anyway.
What if he goes to the Mets?
Yeah, he might.
Would that make a Yankee fan hate the Mets even a little more? Or
it should. Trinidad, that's a good point. You should have a distaste for them. I don't know what's gonna happen, man. The two odds-on favorites right now are the Yankees and are the Mets. Both New York teams, both big pockets. To Trinidad's point, he's in the ALCS with one of the teams right now, so maybe he likes it. I don't know. I'm way less positive or have any confidence level about him becoming a Philly than I did a few months ago. There were times and rumors in circulation that there was interest. You had the connection with Harper and Kevin Long and Turner and Schwarber from Washington. You had Soto mic'd up. And they asked him a question about teammates he played with, like throwing him a meatball to say Aaron Judge, and he says Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
And it's like man, like just
It
put
does make you
these
think.
guys on a team together. But
these
I don't
runs, they
think it's
bond
happening.
guys.
Yeah.
These runs through the playoffs, they bond guys together. And
Yeah.
to Trinidad's point, if they go to the ALCS, if they go to the World Series together, it's going to be hard to break that group up, especially when Soto's going to be crowned as the guy that was the difference maker, right? To get them to that next level. Because I was going to say that would be one upper that he would
listen,
get.
Man, and the craziest part, though, wherever it happens,
with Soto, he's the difference, right? But you can get
whenever
that
it happens, it's going to be the second richest deal in baseball. Like, he's not surpassing Ohtani by any stretch.
Yeah,
but he's going to get north of $500 million from one of those New York teams.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's interesting.
It's absolutely crazy. But all right, Flyers. I keep forgetting it's Friday. I'm literally thinking tomorrow night. No, the Flyers kick off their season in 11 hours. So we'll get to see firsthand glance of Jet Luchenko and
pretty cool, man. I'm pretty excited for that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Look, how long the excitement lasts, right? If they're not a competitive team, they're young, a lot of growing pains. I don't know. But what I will say is you got to remember, we started this morning show a little over a year ago together. And it was right around the time of the NHL draft when Michkov was selected 7th by Philly. And I mean, dude, at that point, we were talking 3-4 years down the road. There were international issues. There were things, with his league in Russia not, allowing or wanting players to come over here, etc. It took him one season.
Yeah.
One season he's here.
Yeah.
And not only is he here, man, and is he like, he hasn't played a regular season game yet. I know that. But just through practice and the preseason games where he's scoring 2 goals and game winners in overtime and having multiple points a game, not only is he seemingly as advertised, he wants to be the guy in Philly. He wants to turn this franchise around. He wants to get them back to the playoffs.
You throwing any loose change on it tonight?
I might. Actually, are they? I'm assuming we're plus money.
Yeah, plus 150.
It's got to be worth a little sprinkle, no?
Yeah, a unit or two, maybe.
Why not? Let's hold on. Before we get out of here, let's just see not only Wrong Sport, that's MLB.
I wanted to say though, Trinidad, give me a follow on X. Give us a follow on X, and we can stay connected with the betting. Definitely.
Is he on? Yeah.
I'm always down to ride on some tails. So definitely add me on X.
He said this. I'm pretty sure. Did Utah win again last night? I saw they were up in the first or second period, which is just funny. I don't know why, but
what are they called?
Brother, they're called the Utah Hockey Club.
Utah Hockey Club. Yeah, they did win in overtime.
It's the same thing when Washington was the Washington football team, except that was like a transition period for Washington. This is like just what they landed on for Utah. The Utah Hockey Club. That's unbelievable.
Interesting. They should have did Utah PC or something, like Puck Club. That would have been cool. 5-4 last night though in OT against the is that the Rangers?
Hold on, why can't I find this? Help me out here.
Oh, the Islanders. Excuse me.
I know we're about to wrap up, but this is some bullshit, DraftKings.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for Matvei Michkov goal scorer, and he's not listed. I wanted to see what the odds are.
Man, that's the thing. The only reason I bring this up is because I was just on the Eagles game on FanDuel, and the odds, man, there is no likable juice for me in that game. Man.
You want juice on? I mean, there is juice on hockey goal scorers, brother. Couturier plus 350, Frost is plus 360, Farabee's plus 360, Bobby Brinks plus 425. Drysdale is a defenseman, and Sanheim are both plus 650.
Do they have the score assist option for hockey?
Let's see. They have points.
What would that? Yeah, that would just be a point.
So a goal is a point, and assist is a point. Owen Tippett for a point is over under 0.5 minus 110. Morgan Frost for a point plus 130. Tyson Forrester for a point plus 135. So yeah, you can go that route, but this is some bullshit. Why is Michkov not listed anywhere?
Really? He's on mine for anytime goal scorer. He's at plus 270 on FanDuel.
God damn it.
And it's actually Owen. Oh no, Travis Konechny.
Travis Konechny, yeah.
He's the favorite to score plus 195.
And then Owen Tippett.
And then Owen Tippett at plus 210. And then I was about to say Tyson. Is it Forster?
Yeah, Forster.
Yeah, he's right after Mitchkov at plus 280. So those are the top 4.
Always something to keep an eye on, man. We'll have to.
Yeah, I'll throw something. I might throw something on Mitchkov specifically just to, have a little bit more fun with it, I guess.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to win.
Do you have points there or no?
Let me see. Player period props. No. I don't see points yet, but I know FanDuel it may be like closer to the game. But the point would be more ideal. I will say that.
Right. It's not going to have nearly as much juice, but that way you.
Yeah, I don't have it yet though. Wonder if maybe FanDuel doesn't have that. I don't know.
Well, and this is what I'm pretty sure someone can correct me in the comments if they know or not. But the thing with hockey is they have the double assist.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm pretty sure the first pass still count like that. I don't think that's just half. Like I don't think that's just half. Like that's an assist as well.
It's an assist, yeah.
So so it'll be like assisted by blank and blank if it's like in the zone Because
I remember I was cashing Connor McDavid in the postseason last NHL season. I was cashing him for points each game, man.
Yeah.
I think his was like over 1.5 or something like that. But he was cashing me out for sure. Yeah, man. Give us a follow at DSM _ media on X at DSM _ media, and we can put some picks together.
Yep.
Talk about it on the show after we win some cash together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Have a good Friday night. Should be fun. Get some puck in, and then we got some major college football on Saturday, which I'm going to text you after this, my man. I think we will be able to link up tomorrow for sure.
That works, brother.
But yeah, man, exciting weekend. Yeah. Get the birds back, and then
for all you boyfriends, husbands, fiancés, this is definitely not the apple picking weekend if you are a college football fan or a gambling fan. So it actually is a ridiculous Saturday, dude. Like
yeah, my boy was getting me hip. I have a buddy who is a huge Ohio State fan. So he's juiced for that game tomorrow, right?
All right, let's get on out of here and go enjoy the weekend shortly. Appreciate you guys for commenting all show long. Keep coming back. We'll be live Sunday morning, probably noon, right on the dot for Eagles for DSM pregame live for Eagles Browns. We'll be live on the Turf Talk YouTube channel even earlier than that, breaking down the rest of the NFL slate that day. And then, of course, we'll be back in action Monday morning right here on the Phaithful Phanatics show. Hopefully talking Victory Monday for the Birds. We will have some Flyers hockey to talk about, and we'll have Paul George's debut. Not sure if we're going to get to see any of it on clips, Twitter, anything, but maybe we'll get to talk about some of that as well as the Sixers start to head into their regular season actions shortly. Two, follow on all social platforms, specifically the Twitter channel like Scotty was just talking about. It's where we post all of our picks. It's where we also stream live from, and you guys can be interactive with us when we're not on stream. And then the YouTube channel is the best and only spot to get your comments pulled up with us. Excuse me.
Sir.
So make sure to subscribe there. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy the weekend.
Peace. See y'all.